Well, the skies are starting to lighten a little bit. It's still a misty rain falling here, but sure didn't keep the fans away. Look at this place. No other ballpark in baseball would you see a stadium this filled with the fans sitting in a persistent rain.
So Hart ready to work against Nate McLeod. Ball one inside. So a 42-minute rain delay. And a broken bat, one hopper right to Derek Lee, who gets it to Kevin Hart for the first out. We want to welcome those watching all over Europe on ESPN Dublin and also in Canada on Rogers Sportsnet.
One thing to watch for with Kevin Hart today is when will he incorporate his curveball. We mentioned pitching out of the bullpen. He's basically been a two-pitch guy, two-seam sinking fastball and a cut fastball. I mean, there's a couple of different schools of thought. If you show the curveball early in the game, it plants a seed in the hitter's mind, and then you can go with your two best pitches and hope that the hitters are sitting there waiting for the breaking ball, or you can save it in your back pocket until later in the game, establish your two best pitches early, show the breaking ball later on.
Good cutter to start this sequence against Martin Prado, who's playing third for the second straight day for Chipper Jones. Another one in there for a strike, 0-2. Bobby Cox's club will head off to Denver to play the Colorado Rockies this weekend. Series starts tomorrow night. Cubs got a break, not facing rookie phenom Tommy Hanson in this series. He'll take his 4-0 mark into tomorrow night's game against Aaron Cook. That'll be a good matchup, and maybe Lou will spend the evening with his feet up on the couch watching that one. First off day in over 3 weeks tomorrow. Actually, Lou did say before the game he will be attending a charitable event, the battle against juvenile diabetes, so he will be busy on the off day as Prado bounces that one off his foot. Cardinals won last night, so the Cubs lost a game in the standings. They're 3 back. Still only 1 game behind Milwaukee, and only a half a game ahead of Cincinnati. Reds came back last night after losing a 22-1 decision to Philadelphia 2 nights ago, and the Reds won last night 4-3. Another game going on right now of note to the Cubs. Houston leading the Pirates 2-0 in the top of the 4th in Houston.
Cardinals play up in Milwaukee later this evening. That has a chance to be a high-scoring ball game. Todd Wellemeyer against Jeff Suppan. Both guys have given up runs in bunches this year.
Although Suppan was really good here in his last start, but a .460 season ERA, and the former Cub Wellemeyer at .544. Ball 4 as Prado draws the walk. Now Garrett Anderson normally would be Chipper Jones in the 3 spot. Anderson without a hit in the series, 0 for 7, 2 for 16 on this road trip. He did walk last night. Baker to Ryan Theriot, relay throw in time. They get the double play. 4-6-3 to get Hart out of the first inning. Braves don't score, and the Cubs are coming to bat. Cubs trying to keep him right there as Braves leave town after this one. Now the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Kosuke in the leadoff spot. Ryan Theriot, a late insertion into the lineup. Derek Lee at first. Aramis Ramirez cleaning up with Bradley hitting fifth. Jake Fox is in left for Alfonso Soriano. A lot of power from Jake lately. Jeff Baker gets his first start as a Chicago Cub. Coy Hill in there for the second straight game. And Kevin Hart, former position player, can swing the bat a little bit.
Take a quick look at the Braves defensively today. Garrett Anderson will be out in left field. Nate McLouth in center. Jeff Francoeur over in right field. Prado and Escobar on the left side of the infield. Conrad and Kochman on the right side. All-star Brian McCann behind the plate today once again for right-hander Kenshin Kawakami. Look at his numbers on the season. He's been a victim of lack of run support as well this season. Out about a hit an inning this season.
Former teammates with Chunichi in Japan. Kawakami and Fukudome. 1 ball, no strikes.
Kawakami in 257 career games in the Japanese Professional League. 214 of those starts was 40 games over 500.
Emphatic strike call by Jim Joyce. 1-1.
Kawakami will feature a fastball that sits in the high 80s to low 90s. He's got a curveball, a splitter, and a cut fastball. And in his last couple of starts, he's used all those pitches. Mixed them very well.
It's Kosuke in the leadoff spot. So 5 hits the last 4 games. Hitting for some more power with a couple of extra base knocks as well. Kawakami, a 34-year-old rookie, 5'11", 200 pounds. And it's low. 2-2. Braves picked up a game on the 2 teams ahead of them in their division. Actually, they jumped past the Mets, and both the Phillies and Marlins lost. So the Braves are just 4 out in the East, even though they're 3 games under 500. Some tight divisions other than the Nationals. Everybody's very much in the race over in the Eastern Division. And well, there's been a lot of talk over the past 24 hours about who's going to get Roy Halladay. He is open to a trade if the Blue Jays find a suitor, and I would think they'll have to get a lot in return in exchange for Roy Halladay.
Well, the other side of that coin is if you do get Roy Halladay, you get a lot in return.
Oh, yeah. That's ball 4. So the leadoff man is on. It'll bring up Ryan Theriot. He was originally scheduled to start this game on the bench with Andres Blanco starting at short. But with Giovanni Soto suffering a mild left oblique strain, we didn't get a chance to talk to Lou because the lineup switch was so late. But we would have to assume that Terriot's in there because Lou had Soto and Soriano out. And with Soto now coming out of the lineup, he wanted a little more offense. So Theriot, who's at a good homestand, is in there at short. Kick and the pitch. Low and outside on a fastball. Missed again. That pitch was a lot closer. 2-0.
Well, when we heard about Kawakami and his difficulty in making the adjustment to the American strike zone, first thing that crossed my mind was, can you imagine Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine pitching in the Japanese professional league if that's the case? You talk about pitchers who are able to expand the strike zone, and if the strike zone is already larger than we see here in America, and then you have a couple of guys who can expand off the corners even more, they may have never lost a ball game.
The 3-0, Ryan taking it all the way 3-1. Kawakami working on normal rest this time around. He had extra rest before his last start because 2 starts ago he got knocked out early after 3 perfect innings against the Yankees. Took a vicious liner as Terrio grounds to short. They're going to stay out of the double play. No! Kosuke was running with the pitch on the 3-1, but he was called out on a very close play at second, and they turned 2, and he might be hurt. Or is he just upset? He's just upset.
I think he has every right to be upset without even seeing a replay. It looked to me like Kosuke was all over that bag out there at second base. Lou arguing from that third base dugout, but well, yeah, I mean, that's about as much reaction as you ever see from Kosuke on what he feels was a bad call anywhere on the field. Fukudome on the move as Terrio hits that ground ball to Escobar at short, and jeez, what a horrible call.
Well, that was...
He's on the bag. Man,
that's one of the worst calls I've ever seen. I mean, it wasn't even close. Darryl Cousins, crew chief at second. Wow. So it goes a 6-4-3 double play. The 0-1 to Derek Lee is fouled back.
Well, I'm flabbergasted. That's one of the worst calls I've ever seen at second base. He was almost sitting on the bag. Yeah. Wow.
And like you said, to get that reaction from Kosuke, it had to be a bad call because he never gets upset as Prado throws out Lee. Boy, what a promising start to the inning. Kawakami's going to ask about the dirt, the landing spot there on the mound. Nothing after 1. be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older will get a Cubs white t-shirt, compliments of Bud Light. We're still trying to recover from that call at second base. Wow. Brian McCann will lead off the second for the Braves, and a first pitch strike from Kevin Hart. McCann with both Braves RBIs last night, and that's all they would need behind Javier Vasquez, who beat the Cubs for the second time.
Now, with no Chipper Jones in this Braves lineup, the two guys you worry the most about are the guy at the top, Nate McLouth, who has home run power, also a high average hitter that can steal bases, and the guy at the plate right now, Brian McCann, one of the more consistent hitters in this Braves lineup.
Trying to sell those Cub claws. You see them all over the ballpark. They stayed dry today. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Hart, who never did leave town when he was optioned the other day. 24 hours later, he was called back. More look at that call at second in the first inning.
I want to take those shades off, Darryl.
Here's Yunel Escobar. Inside, ball one. Hitting .330 against righties. Cutter for a strike. Hart is 26. Popped up. Right near first, Derek Lee will make the catch. So 2 quick outs. Nothing is guaranteed beyond this start for Kevin Hart, but Lou hinted that he'll probably get at least one more start after the break, and at that point it'll depend on how well he does in this starting role. In for Ryan Dempster.
I'm talking to
3 to 4 weeks.
Pardon me, Len. Talking to Larry Rothschild before the game, he said there are no pitch count restrictions on Kevin Hart. He can go as long as he's effective in the ball game. As we mentioned earlier, he's been a starter down AAA Iowa, so that's not a concern.
The longest he's gone in the minors this year, 7 innings. In his last outing was a relief appearance 4 days ago versus Milwaukee. Didn't give up a run, a walk, a strikeout in 2 innings. The 2-0 to Casey Kochman is low. Walks have been a problem at this level for Kevin. 27 in his first 44 and a third innings. He winds and fires on a 3-0, and it's right down the middle, 3-1. High foul pop out of play down the left field line. Cubs got Kevin Hart from the Baltimore organization in December of '06 for infielder outfielder Freddie Bynum. And just outside, ball 4. Second walk issued by Hart. Now Jeff Francoeur. Second straight start after 3 games on the bench for Francoeur. A huge crowd, but a little quiet. I think that 42-minute rain delay took a little of the energy out of the park. Continues to lightly rain. Everybody just slightly waterlogged.
A little bit. It's nothing that a couple extra base hits by the good guys wouldn't fix. That's where Kevin Hart has to really concentrate on missing the strike zone ahead of a free swinger in Jeff Francoeur with an 0-2 count. You can go up the ladder with a high fastball, throw that cutter off the outside corner away, bounce a breaking ball. Don't have to throw him a strike.
Lee comes over and he will not have a play.
And he actually got away with one there. It was either a cutter or a little slider that just strayed right over the heart of the plate. Fortunately, Francoeur got underneath and popped it out of play.
Braves came in ranked 11th in the National League in runs. The Cubs 15th. Both teams in the top 5 in ERA. And he struck him out. As Francoeur went after a curveball and couldn't get it. 2-out walk, no runs. Bottom 2. Ramirez, Bradley, and Fox coming up in a 0-0 tie.
Cubs battle the Cards at 3:10. Throughout the game, great prizes will be awarded to lucky fans in random seats, compliments of 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven.
Nice hand for Aramis Ramirez. Thanks to Aramis for joining Josh Moore on the pregame. He's in the cleanup spot. After batting 5th in his first 2 games back. 2 for 8 since coming off the disabled list. And facing Kawakami for the first time. 1-0 on Ramirez. 0-0. Bottom 2. Fouled back our way. Talked with Paul Sullivan during the rain delay from the Chicago Tribune about an interesting visit we got up here in the press box in the broadcast booth from Carlos Zambrano. Came up to have a chat with Paul, and then he dropped by the booth, grabbed the live PA mic, high fly to left, and Garrett Anderson camped underneath to make the catch. He sang about half of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and Bobby sounded great. Unfortunately, we don't have a recording of it, but he hit all the notes, got all the words right.
Well, I think Sully's going to go down and sit next to Carlos in the dugout later in the ball game today to see what it looks like from down there.
Bradley had the night off last night. He pops it into left. He did pinch hit and lined out to left. This time he flies to left. That'll bring up Jake Fox. He's in there for Alfonso Soriano, playing left for the second time this year, and getting on base and hitting home runs.
And actually doing a much better job defensively wherever he's played, whether it be third base or outfield, than I think anybody expected. Jake Fox is not going to make anybody forget Brooks Robinson at third base, but made all the plays. Wasn't always pretty, but it was effective.
Fastball strike. Too low, 1-1. Kawakami got a 3-year deal to come over from Japan. Signed it mid-January. First Japanese-born player in Atlanta Braves history. Swing and a miss. His first year in Chunichi was 1998, and he won 14 games that year. It was a foul. Let's go back a couple of starts ago, and this knocked him out of the game. Jabba Chamberlain of the Yankees at the plate. Well, that's scary. It's off the base of the right side of his neck.
As you said, he was pitching a perfect game after 3 innings when he had to depart that one. A little shaky his next time out, but appears to be okay today. Jabba Chamberlain, of all people. I guess it's a good thing it was Jabba Chamberlain. If it had been A-Rod or somebody that swings the bat hard, might have really been injured.
Bounced foul. And the count holding at 2 apiece. Jeff Baker, getting his first start as a Cub, is on deck. He's playing second today for Fontenot. Fox pops it up. Will be handled by Brooks Conrad to end the inning. The Cubs go down in order. We'll head to the third, 0-0 from Wrigley Field. writers, sports stars, and celebrities discuss the day's hottest sports topics and set the table for the night ahead. Don't miss Chicago Tribune Live tonight at 5:30, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Switch hitting second baseman Brooks Conrad will lead it off and take a strike from Kevin Hart. 2 hits last night, including a triple. He banged off the wall in right. Swing and a miss. The pitcher Kawakami and then Nate McLouth for the Braves here in the third. We started late, 42 minutes late because of a rain delay. It still is raining, but not very hard.
We mentioned that drive by Conrad last night. It really shouldn't be surprising. He had 3 seasons, actually 4 seasons in the minor leagues when he hit over 20 home runs. Had a season of 40 doubles, 36 doubles, 38 doubles. This guy's got some sock in his bat.
Terrio plays it on one hop, and he barely gets Conrad at first.
Soft liner to shortstop. Terrio had to back up and play it on that big hop. Conrad very nearly beat that out at first base. Not only does he have a little power, looked like he did beat it out. Pretty.
So with 1 out, it's Kawakami taking the pitch inside. He's 3 out of 23 in his major league career. That's good for a 130 batting average. Hart with a walk in each of the first 2 innings, but neither hurting him. He has kept the Braves from getting a runner in scoring position to this point. And a called strike, 2-1. You ever wonder if there are days when Jim Joyce just doesn't feel like doing that strike call?
I've never heard him not do it. One of the more distinctive strike calls in all of baseball. There was a time in this game when every umpire worked the plate, had something unique or different that they did with their calls at home plate, but Jim Joyce is the one guy you don't even have to be facing the field and you know who's working home plate.
Driven the other way. Bradley's back on it. He'll get there. 2 outs. Hardest hit ball by a Brave, and it was from the pitcher Kawakami.
Good to get back in the sequence there and force Kawakami to swing the bat. As you mentioned, Kevin had walked 1 batter in each of the first 2 innings. You don't want to walk the opposing pitcher when he's batting 130. Make him put it in play. Let your defense work behind him.
You know, it's interesting, Bob, how players in different countries are taught how to play the game. We see Japanese-born pitchers. Many have a very similar delivery, kind of deliberate. The other thing we've noticed, at least I have noticed, a lot of guys after they swing the bat, they let go of the bat very quickly. And even though Kawakami is a pitcher, this is very Kosuke Fukudome like. Watch how he lets go of the bat after he swings. Just you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that real quick bat flip that Kosuke does.
A little bit of a flourish on top of it. It's a good catch there. I didn't see that.
– 3-0 to McLouth.
I still like to watch Lance Berkman, especially from the left side of the plate. When he gets a base hit, he lays his bat down very gently, like it's made out of glass. He would never think about flipping his bat up in the air like that.
I don't remember any particular quirk you had at the plate. Is there anything you did that was different from a lot of other guys?
Not really. I mean, my stance itself was a little awkward and a little unorthodox, but you know, like a lot of other hitters, once the ball was released, I felt like I was in a pretty standard hitting position.
The ball, I think, hit the bag and handcuffed Derek Lee, and McLeod's going to end up at second base with a double. Well, it looked like it got Derek maybe in the neck.
You're absolutely right. That ball hit the bag.
Nope, his hand.
Yeah, he was able to deflect it. It looked like mostly with his bare hand into right field for Milton Bradley. That'll go as a double for McLeod. You never know what that ball's going to do when it hits the base. It might skip and stay down. We've had a lot of precipitation here early in the ball game. It might hit the front of the bag and pop straight up in the air. It might hit the back part of the bag and turn into a roller.
Cutter strike to Prado, walked his first time. Braves now with a runner in scoring position for the first time. Hart has a sign from Coy Hill. A look at McLeod. And a base hit into left. Jake Fox has it go past him. So the Braves get the lead, and Prado will end up at second base on a single and an error by Fox. So Prado gets an RBI.
Ball just didn't come up as much as Jake Fox thought it was going to. The grass a little wet out there, maybe a little soft. You saw him come up with the glove. The ball got underneath. I spoke too soon about his defensive prowess on the field.
Well, the ball didn't come up. Fortunately, because the ground is wet, it slowed it down once it got past him, and it kept Prado at second instead of third. Well, there's no doubt Brian Snitker at third base is going to take more chances today on plays like that than he would with Soriano in the lineup in left. They're going to make Jake Fox show them that he can throw somebody out. A 1-0 to Garrett Anderson, knocked down by Coy Hill. Coy played that, Bob, like a hockey goalie. Kind of threw his left shoulder into that ball. That's the body block.
You use all your body parts, whatever is necessary to keep that ball in front back there behind the plate, and your shoulders are an important part of the mix, especially on a breaking ball that hits and bounces high behind home plate.
The 2-0 to Anderson, missed again, 3-0. Let's go back to that block.
A catcher will always try to keep his shoulders square if possible, but you could see because that was a breaking ball, it took an awkward bounce, and Coy had to curl that left shoulder in to make sure that ball stayed in front.
Ball 4, bringing up Brian McCann. Larry Rothschild will head to the mound to chat with Hart. He has walked one in each inning. It's not a trend he would like to continue today, especially in this spot. He walked Anderson in front of their best hitter, Brian McCann.
Well, we know the Cubs have struggled offensively this year, Len, but just looking at some numbers here, it just seems to me like the Braves come up with a lot of base hits with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, and the numbers would bear that out. They're batting .287 in those situations. Runners in scoring position, 2 outs. With runners in scoring position altogether this year, they're hitting .264. The Cubs, with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, batting .233, and overall with runners in scoring position, .223.
Now the Braves lead the National League in that department. Runners in scoring position, 2 down. Cubs are middle of the pack, 9th.
McCann hitting .300 in these situations.
In fact, Atlanta leads the majors in this particular spot. Only Kevin Hart keeps missing. 2-0 on McCann with Escobar on deck. And Escobar is hitting over .400 with runners in scoring position. Key moment here for Kevin Hart, already trailing 1-0. Good rip by McCann, 2-1.
A little extra zip on that fastball at 92 to McCann. Get a hitter in one of those good counts, 2-0, 3-1. You can do one of two things. You can either try to put a little extra on the fastball and beat him to the strike zone, which is what Hart did that time, or you can take a little off and hope to get him out front.
High drive by McCann, and Bradley is going to have some room. In fact, the wind pushing that ball way back toward the plate. So Hart gets out of it after giving up 1. Braves lead 1-0.
Rascal Flatts performs their Unstoppable Tour on Saturday, July 18th. Tickets are still available by visiting tickets.com or calling 1-800-THE-CUBS. Mezzanine suites are also available by calling 773-404-CUBS.
Here's Jeff Baker in his first start as a Cub. He was acquired from the Colorado Rockies last week prior to Thursday's game. And a minor league pitcher, Al Albuquerque, was sent the other way in that deal. Was on the deal with a sprained left hand since late April. Came off the deal right before the trade. 0-2 the count. He'll be followed by Coy Hill and then Kevin Hart. Breaking ball is in the dirt. Houston leading the Pirates 5-0 in the 6th inning down in Houston. Wandy Rodriguez pitching well for the Astros. Charlie Morton got knocked around, getting 5 runs in 4 innings. Escobar will shoot it across and get Baker. Time for the Cabot Woodstains legendary performance on this date in 2002, the Home Run Derby in Milwaukee. Jason Giambi and Sammy Sosa. And Giambi out homering Sammy 7-1 in the final round to win that derby, and you were there to watch it.
Yes, indeed. Well, I cannot believe how far the ball was flying out of Miller Park. It was just ridiculous. Bernie Brewer was hiding in his little hut up there at the top of the sliding board.
One strike to Coy Hill. He had the lone Cubs RBI on Tuesday night. Giovanni Soto is day-to-day with a mild left oblique strain. And those can often be very troubling injuries that don't go away. Now the break's coming up, so he'll have a few days next week, but we don't know if he'll be available this weekend or not against the Cardinals.
We would assume in an emergency, Soto could probably go behind the plate. You'd certainly like to avoid that if at all possible. And if not Soto, I would guess Jake Fox would probably be the third or emergency catcher behind Coy Hill and Giovanni Soto.
He's worked a 3-1 count with the pitcher hard on deck. High fly ball, and again not going anywhere today. Sounded good off the bat, but Frank Coeur, well in front of the warning track, puts it away.
At least it's not going anywhere that direction. The wind has picked up since the game began, blowing pretty much straight in from center, occasionally from right center. We saw it really knock down Brian McCann's ball. The same thing happened to Coy Hill's drive toward right center.
Fastball for a strike. Hart was a third baseman as a youngster. He played first base and pitched in college. He went to the University of Maryland. Always thought of himself as a position player first. After he was drafted by the Orioles, he became strictly a pitcher, where he has remained. Said early on when he would struggle on the mound, he did wonder whether he might go back to first base, but it never did happen.
Well, we don't know if he's going to hit here at the major league level, but he looks like a hitter at the plate.
Well, he takes good BP. Yeah. I've heard from his teammates that he swings a bat.
I mean, a lot of pitchers get in that batter's box like they're embarrassed to be there and they want to get it over with as quickly as possible. Kevin looks like he intends to do some damage.
Looking for his first major league hit. Bounces it foul past Mike Quaddy down at third base. High bouncer to Prado. Kawakami and is not allowed to hit through 3. Just one base runner. That was in the first inning on a walk. And it's 1-0 Atlanta. The base hit that sent Pete Rose barreling into Ray Fosse to win the 1970 All-Star game.
I know this one, so I'll have to eliminate myself.
All right. I didn't know the answer, but I do now. I just found out.
Well, and everybody has seen that clip so many times over the years of Pete Rose rounding third, heading for home. Ray Fosse trying to hold his ground there at home plate, and it looked to me like Pete Rose leaned so far forward that he was almost off balance to the point of falling flat on his face, but he managed to stay on his feet, and what a collision. Really curtailed a very promising career for Ray Fosse. He was one of the finest young catchers in the American League at that time and never was quite able to regain the same form.
Escobar, Kochman, and Francoeur in the 4th. So Hart ready to work. And a breaking ball strike. Kevin has thrown more pitches every inning. Floated out into center. Kosuke coming in, but he won't get there in time. It's a base hit.
Well, as always, the depth of Kosuke Fukudome out there in center field.
Brings up Kochman, who walked in the 2nd. He's the son of longtime Angels scout and minor league manager Tom Kochman, who actually signed his son after he was drafted by the Angels in the 1st round in 2001. He got a family discount. No, Dad, I want more.
Well, Tom Kochman was a longtime manager in Boise, Idaho, where the Hawks play their home games. I believe it's called Tom Kochman Field.
was the Angels' #1 prospect in 2005. Missed most of 06 with mononucleosis. He was acquired last July. It was in the Mark Teixeira deal. Escobar at first, nobody out. The 1-1 from Hart. Kochman just got a piece of it. 1-2.
Always been a very solid defender. Has the top fielding percentage among major league first basemen going back to the beginning of the 05 season. Coming into this year, he'd only made 8 errors in his career, and I believe he's still stuck on 0 this year.
The guy who strikes out a whole lot. Didn't strike out until his 49th major league plate appearance back in 2004. It's pretty impressive. Double play ball, possibly. Safe at second. Out at first. So another call near second base goes against the Cubs, as Darrell Cousins says Terrio was not on second base on the errant throw by Baker, and here comes Lou. And this argument may go back to the first inning as well.
And if it does, Lou probably won't stick around very long. Umpires really hate it when you bring up plays from earlier in the ball game or earlier in the series or earlier in the season in reference to a play that you're arguing right now. You may ask what happened to the neighborhood play. Usually that neighborhood play only applies if everything goes smoothly, and by that I mean the feed to the shortstop is on target. Ryan Terrio catches the ball, no problem, throws on to first, but that time the throw from Baker to Terrio was wide of the bag at second, causing Ryan to reach out there, and it looked like he had his foot on the bag. We'll take a look at it from this angle. Ball in the glove, it was very close, very close. But certainly we've seen a lot of double play pivots at second base where the middle infielder was nowhere near the bag, and guys have been called out before, but I think the key to the play was the wide throw.
So Kochman out, but Escobar safe at second. Jeff Francoeur takes it inside. A good pick on the bounced pitch by Coy Hill.
And not exactly textbook form that time from Coy. Just kind of reached across to the backhand side and picked it out of the dirt, much like Derek Lee does down at first base.
And Hart has Escobar caught between second and third. Terrio to Ramirez, and Francoeur able to get to second. That's all Escobar was trying to do once he got caught in a pickle, and that was get the other guy to where he was when the play started. It's almost like a ground out.
One hop comebacker to Kevin Hart. He immediately checks that runner at second, realizes they've got him hung up. This is what pitchers are taught to do. Run him back to the base he came from and then give it up to the infielders. Ryan Terrio got Escobar moving at full speed, and a heads-up base running play by Jeff Francoeur.
They're going to walk Conrad intentionally to get to Kawakami. Now Kevin got the out on a hard hit ball on a 2-0 pitch, and he's only down 1-0. He still can get it together today, Bob, but if he continues to struggle with strikes early in the count, it's going to be a tough day for Kevin Hart. He has found a way to survive to this point, but it's tough to do that for 7 innings.
And once again, we refer back to the offense an awful lot, but if the Cubs were swinging the bats a little better, or at least some reason for optimism that you're going to score some runs, Lou might be a little more patient with Kevin Hart, even though he's struggling to throw strikes. But when you're not scoring runs, that's when pitchers tend to get their plug pulled pretty early in a ball game.
Here's a Coors Light freeze can. It's bat flip time. Kosuke.
I like it.
Kenshin.
Very nice.
Former teammates.
Yeah, maybe the Chunichi Dragons teach that. It's part of their follow through after a hit.
Here's a pitch. Outside corner. Strike one. 4 walks given up by Hart today. Last one was intentional. Dance around some trouble by getting the pitcher to get out of it. Kick in the pitch. Way high, 2-1. Lots of other action just getting started in the National League. They're now actually in the 4th inning. Rockies leading the Nationals 1-0 in Denver. Scoreless in the 2nd. Padres and Diamondbacks. Also scoreless in the 2nd, the Florida Marlins and the San Francisco Giants. Now, big pitch here. If Kevin Hart can't get Kawakami, we'll probably see some action in the bullpen with Nate McLouth on deck. And that one missed badly.
Body starting to stir around down that third baseline as Larry Rothschild makes his way out to the mound to talk to Kevin Hart, stall for a little bit of time, make sure they know exactly how they want to go after Nate McLouth in a big situation here in the top of the 4th.
Jeff Samardzija is going to start the throw.
Told you the team numbers for the Braves last inning, 287 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, and with that in mind you would assume a lot of guys have really good numbers in that situation, and Nate McLouth is one of them. Those are his numbers with the bases loaded with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, a .417 hitter. You have to make your best pitches right here.
Nothing in 1 on McLouth. Only 1 hit in the inning. That was a leadoff single by Escobar, but they have the bases loaded with 2 outs. And that'll be caught by Fukudome. Stayed up just enough for the center fielder to get it. And get Kevin Hart out of the top of the 4th. They've stranded 6 over the last 3 innings. Braves 1, Cubs 0. barreling into Ray Fosse to win the All-Star game in 1970. And the answer, Jim Hickman. The most infamous plays in All-Star history, no doubt. It was the only year Jim Hickman was an All-Star. He had 315 with 32 homers and 115 knocked in for the Cubs.
This Sunday is AM/PM day at Wrigley Field. Watch the Cubs take on the Cardinals at 7:05. And as always, be sure to arrive early. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Cubs cooler bag. Compliments of AM/PM. Too much good stuff.
Time to get it going here offensively. The last 10 innings the Cubs have batted, they've had only one runner reach second base. So it's Fukudome against Kawakami, top of the order here in the fourth. High for ball one. Prado playing in at third in case Kosuke lays down a bunt. Kosuke walked to lead off the bottom of the first, and he's 2-0 this time around. Embry of the Rockies got the win over Washington last night. He did not throw a pitch. He picked off Austin Kearns to get the only out he recorded. So who says you have to pitch to win in the big leagues?
And he probably had really good stuff. He just didn't need to use it.
He had good stuff to the bases. You know that. He's got a run in the bottom of the eighth to make him a winner. Full count. And Fukudome. Here's a pitch. High in the air to right, and again, ball not flying. Towards Sheffield. So that's 9 in a row retired by Kawakami. Menard's grounds crew taking care of this field. A little bit soggy, but not too bad. Just a light drizzle for the last several hours. Terrio bounced into a 6-4-3 double play, but should have only been one out. Our replay indicated that Kosuke clearly beat the throw from the shortstop Escobar to the second baseman Conrad, but he was called out. Bunted foul as Terrios just trying to get something going here.
I mean, at this rate, it's going to be tough duty for the Cubs. I mean, Kawakami has been throwing well. The Cubs have gone down basically 1-2-3 in the first 3 innings of the ball game. And if you look at the splits for Kenshin Kawakami, the third plate appearance of the game is when the opposition really seems to get to him. But at this rate, the third time through the lineup is going to be way too late. We're going to be into that tail end of the bullpen for the Braves. It's been really good this year.
If you missed it earlier, Giovanni Soto, Cubs catcher, taken out of the lineup today because of a mild left oblique strain suffered during batting practice. He did have an MRI, but the results won't be ready until before the game Friday against St. Louis. Coy Hill in the lineup. Ryan Terrio was going to be out of the lineup, but put back in there. Had a little more pop. Base hit. That's the first hit for the Cubs. Cubs with 1 out in the 4th. Snaps a streak of 9 straight batters retired by Kawakami.
Hopefully that'll be the base hit that gets the Cubs offense going. Came on a curveball that stayed on the inside part of the plate but down. Ontario got out on his front foot but was able to keep his hands back and still had plenty to drive that ball into left field.
Quarter of Derek Lee's home runs have come on this homestand. 4 of them in 7 of the homestand. Cubs are 4-2 to this point. Long pause by Kawakami before the first pitch, and it misses, ball 1.
This is the first time Kawakami's been in the stretch since the leadoff walk to Kosuke Fukudome in the bottom of the first. He was promptly erased on that horrible double play call, but Kawakami now pitching out of the stretch. See if that makes a difference.
Just on the corner. 1-1. Same spot, 1-2.
Well, those are tough pitches to take, but the reality is until you get to 2 strikes, there's not much you can do with them anyway. You swing at that fastball at the knees on the outside corner, probably going to hit a ground ball to one of the middle infielders, which would quickly turn into a double play.
And he struck him out. It's a first strikeout for Kawakami. 2 outs in the inning.
Came on a good changeup right in that same slot where he had thrown those previous fastballs on the outside corner at the knees, and that one just dropped right out of the strike zone.
A Ramos fly to left in his first AB.
Boy, he has got that outside corner wired in with his fastball right now.
The 21st game of the year for Ramirez. Just 75 at bats. Just 50 games with the dislocated left shoulder. And he told Lou today he was ready to go, so it's 3 in a row. Off day tomorrow. Base hit to keep the inning alive for Bradley.
Very similar to the base hit into center field by Yunel Escobar for the Braves earlier in the ball game. Aramis hit it off the end of the bat, just got out there in shallow center and died on the grass. Ryan Theriot chugging hard between first and second, but that's as far.
Tying run at second base. Low for ball 1. At the curve. 1-1. Bounce to the first baseman. It's dropped by Kochman, but he has time to recover. It goes 3-1 as he gets it to the pitcher Kawakami, and that's it. Cubs get their first 2 hits, but fail to score again, and it's 1-0 Atlanta. Four runs. Got to get the offense going, and it's been another problem today against Kenshin Kawakami. Through 4 innings, no runs. Martin Prado will lead off the Atlanta 5th. Doug Glanville, former Cub, and we had Doug on during the Crosstown series here on Comcast Sportsnet. We'll handle our 7th inning stretch a little later. Kevin Hart has battled today. He's kept his team in it. Kawakami has pitched a lot better, but it's only 1-0. Prado is late. 0-2. Gets past everybody. 2-2. Happy birthday wishes to Mike LaFrano, Cubs Senior Vice President of Community Affairs and General Counsel. 39 again.
Again? He has aced that 39th birthday. He's getting real good at it.
A full count on Prado. Congratulations to Aaron Layden of Chicago, who's been selected as the Cubs Everyday All-Star, MLB and People Magazine, searching for individuals who've made a difference in their community. Prado swings and misses. Going to get that leadoff man. Don't miss the action as the Cubs host the Cincinnati Reds Saturday, July 25th. Game time 12:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older will receive a Cubs keychain, compliments of Comcast Sportsnet. We're not handing you the keys to a new car. We're handing you the keychain
We'll take care of the easy part.
You supply the keys, we'll give you the keychain. Got some emails. Got one from Dan Brunner and Ken Jones. And a base hit for Garrett Anderson the other way. A one-out base runner. They're in Elgin, Illinois, and they're wondering whether you have ever gotten a curtain call. Did you ever get one in your career?
We've talked about this in years past. The only curtain call that I recall happened in the minor leagues, Bakersfield, California. I was the beer batter. For those of you who aren't familiar, at a lot of the minor league stadiums, they select a visiting player to be the beer batter. And if the beer batter strikes out, beer is reduced for the rest of the inning to half price or even lower sometimes. And I had a real dreary night at the plate. Struck out, I think, 3 or 4 times, and got a curtain call from the fans in Bakersfield for being the best beer batter in the league.
1-0 on Brian McCann.
I did get a nice ovation when I came back to the Giants in 1989 after a brief and unsuccessful trip into the American League with the Toronto Blue Jays. I came back to the San Francisco Giants, and first game back was a Saturday afternoon game against the Mets, and got a nice standing ovation when I came to the plate and promptly hit a double into the gap in left center off Frank Viola. That sure felt good.
Oh, yeah. Short lead by Anderson as the pitch comes into McCann. Outside, 3-0. Well, he has been behind all day long. 5th 3-0 count for Kevin Hart. Newest Cubs fan born a couple of days ago, Daniela Joe Amiglio. 7 pounds 14 ounces 20.5 inches at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Mom and baby are doing great. Joe and Misty, the parents, high and deep to right as Bradley on the track will make the catch. He gets it back in quickly. Henderson back to first. Joe, one of our great camera operators. Bob, that's her 6th daughter.
Whoa.
No boys.
Outnumbered. Will never win a family vote.
Also, Dave Cella and his wife Kim celebrating their 20th anniversary today, and Dave is celebrating by working. I got to be honest, that's pretty weak. 20th anniversary, Dave. You spending it with us? I know he's got a nice vacation coming up. So congratulations to the Cellas. And skied into left by Escobar, and it's Jake Fox to end the inning. So this is what Dave's doing on his 20th wedding anniversary. Kiss that ring. Nice going, Dave.
Boy, Dave.
1-0 Braves. He's found a way to battle here. It's gone 2-0, 3-0 on a lot of batters, but for the most part, he's gotten out of it.
He's walked that tightrope better than the Walendas so far today. He's going to have to try to keep his pitch count down the remainder of the way, but more importantly, he or somebody in the white shirts is going to have to do something offensively against Kawakami.
Well, Jake Fox certainly has the potential to tie this game with one swing. And a breaker for a strike from Kawakami. Fox getting his second start in left. Came in hitting .354 against righties. Way up and in. 2-1. More very special birthday wish today. Mabel Standerfer from Sullivan, Illinois, turning 95 today. Watches all the games on TV. So happy birthday, Mabel. A Cub fan her whole life. It's from an ex-Cub minor leaguer. We got a nice email from Brett Robinson, who was in the Cubs system back in the late 80s. Ground ball to the shortstop Escobar. Well, he's had a ton of chances in this series.
Also have an email here, Len, from Tom and Janice Olkers from Dunlap, Illinois. They went down to watch Aramis and Reed Johnson play on their rehab assignment and wanted to know if the big leaguers, when they go out on a rehab assignment, do they have a different warm-up than the minor leaguers? And yes, indeed they do. You're very observant. Reed Johnson and Aramis Ramirez have very specific things they do before a ball game based on past injuries or hot spots that they may have on a given day, and they do their routine that they do up here at the major league level. On the other hand, the guys that play for the Chiefs in the minor leagues, they have a very specific routine that they all follow warming up before a ball game. So that was a good pickup there, Tom and Janice.
Jeff Baker. Ball one, 1-1. You know, I was just thinking about it, Bob, and looking back, I still cannot find in this entire three-game series a ground ball chance Aramis Ramirez has had. He caught a pop-up on a bunt attempt last night. I don't see any 5-3 ground ball outs. No 5-4-3 double plays the entire series.
And
we
talked about his rehab assignment with the Chiefs. I think he only had one ground ball hit to him in 3 games on that rehab assignment.
Called strike 3. Got him on a slow 66-mile-an-hour curveball for just his second strikeout. So it's Coy Hill, the 8 batter, and now Michael Hoffpauir has jumped into the on-deck circle for Kevin Hart, and Angel Guzman is cranking it up in the bullpen. Hart with 89 pitches through his 5 innings. There are 2 ways to look at Kevin Hart. You can say, well, he's getting people out, so leave him in for the 6th. The other side would be, we've gotten 5 innings out of a guy who's battled all day with less than his best command. We have an off day tomorrow. Let's use the bullpen. And there's no doubt if Hill reaches, he's coming out. We'll see if Hill does not get on, what Lou decides to do. Might give Kevin 1 more inning. The 2-1 on the way, and Hill pops it up. Anderson's coming over, but this is twisting out of play. This is one of those rare moments, though, Bob, where I think an American League manager would actually say this is a spot where it's easier to manage in the National League. And I think Mike Scioscia once alluded to it. If Hill gets on base, the decision's easy in terms of taking out the starter, because you're not going to bat Kevin Hart in this spot down a run. You're going to use Micah Hoffpauir. But if Hill doesn't get on, that's when it becomes difficult. That's when it's kind of like an American League manager just saying, well, should I put him back out for the 6th or not? And on that one specific point, I would tend to agree. About the only time you could say it's easier to manage without the designated hitter. And there you go, as Hill walks. Hoffpauir will bat for Hart.
Well, and since we have an off day tomorrow, I'd like to go ahead and wish you a happy birthday to my daughter, Lacey. I won't say how old she is. She's still very young. Makes me laugh every day. Happy birthday, Lacey.
Yeah. You have a great birthday, Lacey. So the Cubs will go into their bullpen in the 6th. Kevin Hart could still win it if the Cubs can rally here with 2 outs. The 1-0 to Hoffpauir is low. 2-0. Well, this is a results business. And for Kevin Hart, 5 innings, 1 run. The results were excellent. I think he'd be the first to tell you this was not one of his better performances in the pros. This is his first major league start, but again, keeping his team very much in this game. Just enough room for Prado. So the best Hart can now hope for is a no decision, as Angel Guzman will take over in the 6th. Kawakami shutting out the Cubs through 5. It's 1-0. In high definition tomorrow at 12:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Big night for the captain Paul Konerko last night. 3 home runs. Some groups out here at the ballpark today. Are they eating ice cream out of a small plastic helmet?
Sure looked like it. I knew that would get your attention. Angel Guzman appearing in his 30th game of the season. Stellar ERA of 2.45. Only 22 hits in 33 innings. He's really had himself a nice year up to this point.
Ball one. Fastball to Casey Kochman. Now we're looking for groups, or at least people with
matching
raincoats. Raincoats, yeah. Deep drive to right. Bradley out of room as Kochman gets one out of here. The wind dying, and he took advantage on a towering fly ball home run. That's his 4th of the year, and it's 2-0.
Ball up and out over the plate for Kochman. Gets good extension, hit it right off the barrel. As you mentioned, the wind not blowing quite as hard as it was earlier in the ball game, because everything we've seen hit that way has been knocked down big time, but not that one.
First career homer for Kochman against the Cubs. 1 strike to Francoeur. Make it 0-2. Kochman back in his dugout saying, I don't know what you guys are complaining about with the wind. Saw his hitting coach there with the towel around his neck, Terry Pendleton. He could hit. Switch hitter. Was a third baseman, MVP in 1991. First year of the Braves division title run. Won the batting title that year, .319. 3 Gold Gloves as well on defense for Terry Pendleton.
Didn't hit a lot of home runs, but everything he hit was hard. Line drives from foul line to foul line.
Well, for the most part, Bobby Cox has had a pretty stable of coaches. He's lost a couple of third base coaches over the years to the managing ranks. As Coy Hill will make the catch to get Francoeur. Had Leo Mazzoni as his pitching coach for a long time. Now it's Roger McDowell. Pendleton's been there for a while. Glenn Hubbard at first base. John Sherholtz, the longtime GM, still with the organization. He's the president. Frank Wren is now their GM. Big swing and a miss by Conrad. But for the first time in 2 decades, no Maddox, no Smoltz, no Glavine in the Braves organization. Two and 1 to count. Leadoff homer by Kochman to make it 2-0 Atlanta. The pitch drilled foul. First base side.
Talking about Bobby Cox's coaching staff, even his third base coach Brian Snitker. He's been with the Braves organization since 1977. He's managed at just about every level in the minor leagues. This is his 7th year here with the big league staff.
Born in Decatur, Illinois, Brian Snitker.
I mean, we talked about Bobby Cox and the difference between an organization that he is in charge of the playing field. The players have to adjust to Bobby. Bobby doesn't adjust to the players as they come through Atlanta in their career path. And I think that consistency, knowing who is going to be in charge, and as you said, the coaching staff has been very consistent over the years. Guys leave only by their own free will. You never hear of coaches getting fired from the Atlanta Braves staff. Guys may go on to what they consider to be better opportunities, but there's always that consistency, and it starts with that man right there.
Another foul by Conrad. Braves lost a longtime broadcaster last year, Skip Carey, Harry's son, and Chip's dad. He passed away in August of last year, and his longtime partner Pete Van Wieren retired after last season. It's into the right field corner. It's going to kick off the wall. Bradley slips, but gets it back in quickly. It's a double for Conrad.
Brooks Conrad is making a believer out of me. Guy's got a quick bat. Boy, what a great recovery by Milton Bradley. He slips right there, reaches out with the bare hand to make sure that ball does not get behind him. Conrad probably would have made it at least to third base if that ball gets past Bradley.
Larry Rothschild coming out to the mound. So while they chat, I want to remind you, for individual health insurance from a name you can trust, call Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois at 866-575-BLUE. Lefty Sean Marshall getting up. Here's a pitch to Kawakami. Strike one. Guzman with a similar style to Kevin Hart. Throws a lot of cut fastballs. Hill was ready to fire down to second, but Conrad was able to get back before the throw was even made.
Cubs not figuring that Kawakami could pull the ball against Angel Guzman, so Ryan Theriot, the middle infielder, to cover the bag at second base. Guys on the right side holding their position.
Driven to left, but Jake Fox circling. Kawakami's had a couple of nice swings today. Line to right his first time he walked in the fourth, and this time flying out to left. 2 outs. Brings up Nate McLeod.
That's an example of Guzman throwing a pitch, what they say, in the middle of his bail. Kawakami steps down that third baseline, got a pitch on the inside part of the plate and up a little bit, right in the middle of his bailout.
And Lou's going to go to the lefty Marshall against McLeod. So a pitching change from Wrigley Field. Runner at second, 2 outs. Atlanta 2, the Cubs nothing. Continues to thrive in these spots with runners on base. He's inherited 20 runners on the year and only one has scored. So he leads the major leagues in terms of stranding inherited runners. Trying to make it 20 out of 21. Breaking ball low and outside. Clouth with 5 hits in the series. Low for ball 2. Hitting streak at a season best 9 games with his 3rd inning double. That's a strike. Into center, and it's going to hold up there for Kosuke. So Marshall does it again. He strands Conrad at second base. They do get a run on the leadoff homer by Kochman. It's now 2-0 Braves.
At CSNChicago.com, brought to you by Toshiba.
Home half of the 6th, top of the order against Kenshin Kawakami. Cubs trail 2-0. Sunless day today, and that's a deep drive and gone. A little more sunshine now. Maybe those clouds will part as Fukudome homers off his former teammate in Japan. It's now 2-1. 7th homer of the year for Fukudome, going to the opposite field.
Well, and you mentioned earlier, since Fukudome has been inserted into that leadoff spot, he's been hitting the ball with a lot more authority. Our Heineken home run replay, an opposite field home run for Kosuke Fukudome.
Ontario into center, base hit. Good start to the inning, a home run. And now a single, setting it up for the middle of the order. Kosuke last year in his rookie season hit 10 home runs. He has 7. And we haven't even hit the All-Star break. Only slugged .379 last year. He's in the mid-430s this season. Starting to stabilize after going through a slump. Kind of like the one we saw last year, but last season he never really got out of it. Trying to go around the horn, and they will. A 5-4-3 double play. Second turn of the day. They had one back in the first as well. And just like that, 2 outs.
That outside corner fastball. Kawakami just pounding away at that corner on Derek Lee. Derek finally offered it one of them with that easy grounder to third base. Ontario going in hard after Brooks Conrad at second, trying to disrupt that pivot, but Conrad had plenty of time to complete the throw on to first base.
Ramirez with a big swing, but ends up popping up to Conrad. A 5-pitch inning, starting with the Fukudome home run. Then the single, but the double play ball, and Ramirez pops out. It's 2-1 Atlanta as we go to the 7th. Sean Marshall got Nate McLeod to end the 6th. Kosuke Fukudome leadoff homer in the bottom of the inning to make it a 2-1 ball game. And it's Prado, Anderson, and McCann for the Braves here in the 7th. Again, former Cubs outfielder Doug Glanville will handle the stretch coming up. It's 2-0 to Prado. Aaron Heilman up in the Cubs pen. Missed again, 3-0. Sean should start every inning with a runner at second. Strike one, 3-1.
You know, it's kind of funny how that works out, Len, and that's kind of how your bullpen assembles itself. Certain guys will show the ability to pitch out of some tough jams and leave those runners on base. Other guys are better suited to start an inning fresh with nobody on base.
Well, going back to the starter, your thoughts on Kevin Hart? 5 innings, the 1 run, but again, worked behind in the count all day.
And we mentioned at the top of the show that he was going to have to try to cut down on his walks, and not only the walks, but the incredible number of hitters counts that he found himself in. Now, that being said, he made some big pitches when he needed to. He got out of some of the jams that he created for himself. I think all in all, that was a real solid outing for Kevin Hart today.
I think Kevin has something in common with Randy Wells. He has good poise. He seemed to get rattled out there, and he was able to battle and get through those 5 innings, give his team a chance today.
And another thing, at least for today, that he has in common with Randy Wells is the fact he gets no support from his offense. Well, it's getting to be a broken record.
One and one on Anderson. Last year, the Cubs were the only National League team to score 800 runs. Scored 855. Lou talked about that magic number, 5 runs per game. They've been well below that this season. Just over 4 runs per game. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Come back there by Marshall after walking Prado.
That big curveball from Sean Marshall. Such a tough pitch for a lefty to, number one, hang in there against, because that ball starts at your front shoulder, and then try to be able to track it all the way across the strike zone as it's dropping at the same time.
Been able to handle McCann so far, but he had a big night last night, locking in both of Atlanta's runs. A low scoring series. 4-2 Cubs in the opener, 2-1 Braves last night, 2-1 Atlanta again today. Swing by McCann, just got a piece of it. 0-2 the count. And the all-star catcher, see him wearing the glasses. He had some vision problems earlier this season. Spent some time on the disabled list with a left eye infection. He's hitting .331 since coming back in early May. Derek Lee's going to step on first. The throw goes to Terrio. He's going to run him back. Somebody better get to second quickly. And Baker does. Interesting play to end the top of the 7th. Time for the stretch.
Out for the ballgame is former Chicago Cub Doug Glenville.
Let me hear ya! A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. I don't care if I never get back. Let me run. If they don't win, it's a shame. It's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball. Let's get some runs. Let's go.
Of all the action, analysis from Todd Hollandsworth, and check in on Lou Pinella's post-game remarks. Don't miss Lowe's Cubs post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Peter Moylan is on to pitch after Kenshin Kawakami gave up 1 run in 6 innings. Milton Bradley at the dish, and Doug Glanville is with us in the booth. Doug, always a pleasure to talk to you. Nice job, Harry/Doug.
You know, it's a little Harry thing, but no, great to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
And did a great job doing the Crosstown series. You were doing some interviews as well. You enjoy the media work?
I'm enjoying it. It's a little different being on the other side of the camera like that, and but you know, I'm really enjoying being connected back to the game in an everyday sense. You know, I hadn't played in a few years, and you know, it's just a different kind of story. So I'm being that journalistic side is it's something I've really come to like a lot.
2 strikes on Bradley. Sidewinding Moylan deals, and a ground ball to second. Conrad will throw to first, and they get the out. How do you find enough time in the day to do all the things that you want to do? Traveling, writing, broadcasting? Yeah,
I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what, I have a 1-year-old, and chasing him gives you that energizer feeling. So I just, whenever I can slip in there, I do. And, and writing has become something I really have become passionate about. And that's the cornerstone of what I'm doing in this sort of media envelope. And it's been a pleasure. Really enjoy it.
Jake Fox with 1 out, a swing and a miss. Written for the New York Times. And, you know, we're in an age now where anyone who has a computer can write pretty much whatever they want. And I think there are certainly good things about that. And there are times when maybe certain things get out there that, man, that one's going to get past. Kochman took a weird bounce, and Fox is on. But I think, Doug, you bring an interesting perspective because of your major league playing experience. Is that kind of how you try to approach some of these controversial topics?
Yeah, I think it's a little different. I mean, it seems like a lot of people who leave the game don't go into this literary space of writing. It's more, the other side of the coin, maybe in camera or TV. But I've really found a lot of comfort in the writing side, and there's not a lot of people who do that. So it brings this insider perspective, and I try to make it more human interest, tying in the experience that everybody shares and has common ground with. And so far it's resonated, and I've really enjoyed it.
Mike Fontenot is going to bat for Jeff Baker.
See, we knew you'd be a good writer because you use words like resonate. Most ball players, you'd have to get 10 dictionaries for them to figure out what that meant.
Yeah, I'll tell you, my dad had this phenomenal vocabulary. He used to write poetry, and just watching him and reading his work, it kind of stuck to me. Even though I was an engineer, I still paid a lot of attention to what he wrote, and certainly read a lot of books.
Fly ball down into the left field corner, but it's going to slice out of play. Were there times in your career where your intellect got in the way Meaning, you hear sometimes, don't think, stupid, just react.
Yeah, though I took a little heat occasionally. One time they said I spent more time philosophizing than working. That was one that I heard. Tuffy Rhodes, you remember the legendary Tuffy Rhodes said that he called me the nuclear physicist or rocket scientist. So, but it became an asset over time. It was just another colorful part of a player's uniqueness, let's say. So, it was cool. It became an asset certainly over time.
Well, I think Bob and I and anyone who knew you as a player, we all realized that you were on to bigger and even better things, if that's possible after being a major league player of your caliber. But it's just been very impressive to see what you've been able to do in your post-playing career.
Yeah, it's a tough transition for players. There's not a roadmap when you're finished, and they're like, hey, go ahead and good luck. And if you had financial success in the game, people think everything's okay. But guys have not really worked on skills, and there's really not a lot of people to turn to as to like, how do I make a resume? So you have to find your way, and I just kept hammering away at it, sort of using the things that I used as a player to be prepared, that work ethic, and it translated very well. And since I love the game, it's easy to do things like writing, and because it's something I care a lot about, and it's worked out very well.
There's a ground ball, and could be two, and it will. It goes 6-4-3. Doug Glanville, always a pleasure to see you, and you make the sun come out tomorrow. Been kind of gloomy around here.
Apparently I've caused 2 double plays since I've been on air, so we'll have to try something else.
Thanks.
Right,
appreciate it, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Bye-bye.
Fukudome, the bottom of the inning, would lead off with a home run as well. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Fontenot remains in the game at second base, and right-hander Aaron Heilman, the pride of Logansport, Indiana, will do the pitching, trying to keep the Braves right where they are. Oh, going to the Cubs game with my dad, priceless. I like it. Here's Yunel Escobar. But Bob, it's a topic for maybe a roundtable type discussion. But Doug Glanville, you get into a lot of really interesting topics with Doug, baseball and otherwise. Way up in the air, and it's behind the dugout. I encourage anyone to go online and check out some of Doug's writings. Very interesting take on a lot of the big controversial topics we hear a lot about. He's done a lot of traveling.
A very thoughtful man, obviously very articulate, tremendous grasp of the language, and he was that way as a player too. I mean, it was very obvious early on when you saw some of the post-game press conferences when Doug was involved that he had a little something going for him that other players did not.
Escobar lost his footing on that big swing, 1-2. Now 2-2. Lined foul. 40,531 paid attendance this afternoon. To wait through a short rain delay of 42 minutes. Rainbow into left center. Jake Fox coming on. 1 out.
Time for today's Jimmy John's delivery. Take a look at kind of an oddly turned double play. Derek Lee steps on the bag, so now that base runner who was on first is entitled to return to first if he wants to. Got caught in a rundown, did Prado. Nice play by Jeff Baker, realizing that nobody was at second base and somebody had to get there. Jeff Baker was the guy to apply the tag to end the double play. Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys.
The 1-0 to Kochman. 2 balls, no strikes.
That's kind of an odd play. Once Derek Lee stepped on first base, Prado could return back to the bag because the batter is no longer entitled to go to first base, so that's an unoccupied base and he can return to it.
3-0. Ryan Sadowski's given up a couple runs, believe it or not. Actually 3. Didn't give up anything his first couple of times out with San Francisco as Kochman draws a walk. And Chris Volstad and the Marlins leading the Giants 3-0 in the 7th in San Francisco. We don't go to San Francisco until late in the season, September.
That's when the weather is the best out in San Francisco.
Well, that's one of those cities, all the California stops, really that entire division makes me long for the balanced schedule where you make 2 trips to each National League city. Nothing in 1 on Francoeur. The pitch. He got under it. And it's Jake Fox again. Treat your top clients, employees, or family to an all-inclusive experience in the Bud Light Batter's Eye. Your guests will enjoy Wrigley Field luxury. Enjoy unlimited food and beverages, reserved seating, private restrooms, and a breathtaking view of the friendly confines for only $165 per ticket. For more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-CUBS. In terms of the Live Read Hall of Fame, I don't think we'll submit that one.
Oh, brother.
Some days you can read, some days you can't. The 0-1 to Conrad is low.
When that happens to me, I like to say that my tongue slipped over my eye tooth and I couldn't see what I was saying.
But you can't say that on a day like that, though. It's too hard to say. It's too eloquent. 2-1.
This Brooks Conrad has been a thorn in the side of the Cubs in this series. He's a nice little player. He does a lot of things well. And hopefully he'll pop up to end the inning here really well. He's one of those guys, he's just hiding down there in the bottom of the order. You know, you talk about the Atlanta Braves, and certainly Chipper's name comes to mind. Nate McLouth. Talked about Brian McCann earlier in the ball game. Jeff Francoeur, a dangerous hitter if you make mistakes. But Brooks Conrad is the kind of guy that would get overlooked in an advance meeting, and he's the kind of guy that can jump up and bite you in that 8th spot in the order.
He's here with Kelly Johnson on the disabled list. 2-2 pitch. There's that pop-up you were asking for. And as Terrio's under it, makes a catch. That's the inning. Bottom 8. It is getting late. Cubs are only down 1. It's left-hander Mike Gonzalez, who has this interesting setup. He was rehabbing from Tommy John surgery and just didn't feel like he was in rhythm on a rehab assignment, pitching in the minor leagues, and he kind of started to get things moving before the actual windup. Tommy John surgery in 07. He returned in June of 08. There's a base hit. They were playing no doubles defense on the corners, so Prado was hugging the line, and Hill smacked one past him into left. Tying run is on base.
Hey, you're more likely to play that no doubles defense on your corner if you have a left-handed pitcher on the mound, a right-handed hitter at the plate. You want to keep him from pulling that ball down into the corner for extra bases, but that time Coy Hill took advantage and shot it right past Prado to the position that he normally would have been playing.
Reed Johnson will bat for Aaron Heilman. Cubs trail 2-1 in the rubber game. Bunted by Johnson. Picked up by Gonzalez, and he'll toss to Conrad, the second baseman covering first.
Nice job by Reed Johnson. Gets that bat out in front, pushes it to the first base side. Nicely done. Waving back and forth delivery that he uses out of the windup. See if it changes his deliveries to home plate.
Swing and a miss. 0-1 on Fukudome, who has walked, flied to right, and homered. Cubs closer Kevin Gregg. Looks like we're going to see him either way in the ninth. Line and caught on the dive by Escobar. If it gets by him, Hill probably doesn't score just because he was headed back to second on the liner on the infield. But Escobar has had a big defensive series, and there are 2 outs.
Well, that's a nice play for a couple of different reasons. You see the umpire.
Here's Terrio, 2 for 3. Slices it foul. And Braves setting up like they did last night in winning 2-1 with Gonzalez in the 8th, and if it remains this way into the bottom of the 9th, Rafael Soriano. The 0-1 late on the swing, and it's chopped just foul. Fortunately for the Cubs, it was foul. Now, Lou wasn't in the best of moods before the game because much of the talk with the media was about the offense. And if they can't get that tying and eventually the winning run today, it'd be an interesting post-game session as well. He's kind of fed up with the lack of offense from a team that should be scoring a bunch of runs. And they are second to last in the entire league in that department. It has been baffling to see.
Well, other than Aramis Ramirez, who, as we've documented well over the last couple of days, just returning from the disabled list, Ryan Terrio has the best batting average on the Cubs with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. A .344 hitter in these situations. So hopefully he'll be able to find a way to get Coy Hill on the plate right here. Ramirez at .385 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Gonzalez has a side from McCann. Here's a 1-2, a bouncer left side, charged by Prado, and that's it. So Hill left stranded in scoring position. To the 9th, 2-1 Braves.
drive of the game. It's been all the offense for the Cubs today. Kosuke Fukudome with an opposite field home run. And there hasn't been a lot of noise other than that for the Cubs offensively today.
The closer is in. Unfortunately, the Cubs trail. Kevin Gregg will try to keep the Braves where they are and give the Cubs an opportunity in the bottom of the ninth. Gregor Blanco bats for Gonzalez. Quickly 0-2. Stretch, and that's high. Florida now leading at San Francisco 4-0 in the bottom of the seventh. Houston beat the Pirates 5-0 behind Wandy Rodriguez, who went the distance. A 5-hit shutout, 11 strikeouts for Rodriguez. He's now 8-6 with a 2.96 earned run average. Houston can get within a half game of the Cubs. They started the day in 5th. Rockies lead Washington 8-3 in the bottom of the seventh at Colorado. Troy Tulowitzki with his 14th home run in that one. Now full count, 3-2. Started 0-2. San Diego leads at Arizona 2-1. Top 8. Chad Godin, 6 2/3, only 1 run allowed. Max Scherzer's pitched well for the Diamondbacks, 7 innings, 2 runs, but he trails. American League, Seattle got 2 in the first. They lead at home over Baltimore in the third, 2-0. Gregg finally gets the pinch hitter Blanco on a strikeout. 1 away. Cubs Feldco upcoming schedule. Off day tomorrow. Cardinals in for the weekend, and we'll greet you next here on Comcast Sportsnet. 1 week from Thursday. That's the 16th of July from Washington, D.C. Rich Harden will pitch that first game after the break. After that, Lou has not decided on his rotation. Braves are 3 outs away from winning this season's series 4-2 after getting swept last year in all 6 games. Ground ball rolled up the middle and through past Mike Fontenot.
Goes down, grounds that ball up the middle of the field. Mike Fontenot was shading him slightly to pull toward the hole between first and second. Had a long way to go and could not get there.
Strike to Prado. See if McLeod thinks about running here. Trying to grab an extra run.
Didn't really appear to be working hard to get his maximum lead on that first pitch to Prado. Slide step fastball from Kevin Gregg, unloading that pitch quickly so McLeod didn't have a chance to get a jump over there at first base.
Kosuke coming in, gets all the way by him. This is trouble. McLeod's going to score, and Prado's going to end up at third. And if not for the wet grass, Prado probably scores as well. A single and an error on Kosuke. So no RBI for Prado.
Nice piece of hitting by Prado to go down and get that ball, lined it into center field. Kosuke looked like he had his glove in a good position to smother that ball on a short hop, but we talked about it all day. The wet grass out there in the outfield, that ball just stayed down, skipped right underneath his glove. And that'll force the Cubs to bring their infield in with Garrett Anderson at the plate.
You know, there are times, and actually there was one earlier in this game. It's past Gregg, but it's going to hold the runner as Terrio, who was playing in, gets to it and throws out Anderson. There was a play earlier in this game, and I want to say it was Escobar's single leading off the fourth, where very similar to that one, Kosuke pulled up on it, and I heard some booing from the crowd, thinking, well, he's got to go after that ball. Well, if you take a chance, you might catch it, but if you don't, what just happened could very well happen.
Especially those balls hit straight to you in center field, because obviously there's nobody there to back up the play. It's a long run for either corner outfielder to get over there and retrieve the ball. If it's a ball hit in the gap, a center fielder is more likely to leave his feet and try to make that catch because he knows that the corner outfielder will be there to back up the play.
McCann with a runner at third, gets through the legs of Hill. How about that? An error allowing the first run to score, and a wild pitch allowing the second one in, and it's now 4-1.
Coy Hill looked like he was in good position, but just didn't have that 5-hole covered. Got to get that catcher's mitt all the way down in the dirt. That breaking ball just stayed down and skipped underneath. See, the glove came up just enough for that baseball to get underneath all the way to the bricks.
The 3-0 to McCann is a strike.
At 2-1, you really felt like the Cubs had at least an opportunity to come back in the bottom half of the ninth inning, but the way the offense has been sputtering this year, a 3-run deficit seems like a million. I don't recall that we ever felt that way last year. You felt like the Cubs, regardless of the score of the ball game, always had a chance to come back. And more often than not, they did.
Well, bottom 9, it'll be Lee, Ramirez, and Bradley. Trailing by at least 3. The other part of this is the Braves have been without Chipper Jones the last 2 days, trying to make it 2-0 without him to end this series. McCann ends the inning by grounding out to Mike Fontenot. Both runs are unearned, and it's now 4-1. But again, Lee, Ramirez, and Bradley coming up in the bottom of the ninth. live on your computer and catch those you missed on demand. For more details, visit Cubs.com, where baseball is always on. It is a save situation for Soriano with a 3-run lead. Last night he came in with a 1-run advantage and locked up the win for Javier Vasquez. He's trying to save it for Kenshin Kawakami today.
Just ridiculous numbers for Soriano. You saw 39 2/3 innings pitched, only 22 base hits allowed, 51 strikeouts, only 15 walks.
Ball 1 to Derek Lee. Gregor Blanco stays in and plays left, plays deep left with his team up 3 for Garrett Anderson. Peters strike 1 and 1. Kevin Gregg charged with 2 unearned runs in the top of this inning. The word out that Milwaukee bench coach Willie Randolph has been suspended for 1 game after getting ejected last night by home plate umpire Bill Hahn. He protested a checked swing call on a pitch to Albert Pujols. That was after Dale Swaim, the hitting coach, got thrown out. 2-2 on Lee. Seeking his first hit of the afternoon. In on the hands, fouled back. Another 2-2. Struck him out. Brings up Ramirez. Is that the new rally cap?
Whatever it takes. We'll all walk around with boxes on our head if they get the offense going.
One and nothing on Aramis. Here's a pitch. Fouled straight back, 1-1. Soriano, a former infielder, he was converted to the mound in 1999. Drive to center. As McLeod went back, now coming in, 2 outs. The producer of Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is Bob Albrecht. Our director is Dave Turner. Our associate producer, Tamara Anderson. Our stage manager in the booth, Christine Charbonneau. Our technical director, Joe Vinci. Our tech manager, Mark Harper. The senior executive producer of Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, Jim Corno Jr. Great work from our entire crew, as always. And many of our crew will have a nice little vacation coming up with the All-Star break. A 1-0 to Bradley. He is low, 2 balls, no strikes. Three and 0. Bradley trying to find any way to just keep this game alive. For Jake Fox, he'll try to do the same thing for Mike Fontenot. Tying run still in the dugout right now. Be surprised if Bradley takes another one.
I think you're absolutely right. This is one of those take 2 strike situations. Even if he hits a solo home run, you're still trailing in the ball game, but he chases a fastball on the outside corner for strike 2.
Swing and a miss, and that's it. As Soriano goes 1, 2, 3 in the ninth, and the Braves take 2 of 3. A disappointing series loss after the Cubs won 3 of 4 from the Milwaukee Brewers. They dropped 2 of 3. Off day tomorrow, and then the Cardinals come in for the weekend, the first place